So this is going to be an unedited version. I'm just gonna talk, right? I'm just gonna get right into it. It took me 2 years to figure out what love is. 2 years. Um, I don't think it's the easiest task that a human being can embark on to find such an answer. I think nowadays, with so much distraction, so much going on, it's 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 an it's impossible to find it and truly find it if you're not really looking for it. Um, and so, in these 2 years, I decided to embark on a journey of being celibate, not touching a soul, simply observing the world around me. And it has impacted me not only career-wise, but friendships. It has impacted my relationships with the people around me, but most importantly, myself. And what I have learned is there's such a stark difference between lust and love. It's really, really big. You can go around the entire world looking for love, and I have. You can go to country and search for it. But one thing I can guarantee, you'll never find it. It is not on the outside of the world. Never was. And why I say that is, in the process of these 2 years, I have met so many individuals who simply live in a state of lust. They wake up and it's the instant gratification to relieve them from something that they're escaping from. And what we end up doing is we attach this escapism onto an individual who we find physically attractive. And in the nature of these things is, when we then embark on this journey of lust with this individual, we tend to repeat patterns of past relationships that have harmed us into this new situationship. And because of that, we're chasing this idea, this concept that doesn't really have anything tangible. Instead of looking within, we're always looking without. And the amount of people that I had come into contact with made me realize that so many people are so lost looking for answers outside of themselves that they're using anything and everything, but rather than taking a look within. And in the journey of this, I have been in so many different situations that people have lunged themselves at me. People have been in situations where I've had people dress, bare naked in front of me, and I still denied, because I had this concept of what I was looking for. And as I continued to keep on searching for this idea, I didn't even realize it was always internally there. And in the process of looking for that answer, of grasping for that answer, it ruined certain relationships, because the instant gratification that was attached to the idea of who I was before was what the foundation was built on. And so in this shift change of looking for these answers, these people have now left, and they're no longer in this process or time frame that I am in now. I completely lost my train of thought, but that's fine. It happens. But to continue on the point is, I've went through heartbreak. I've went through all these different crazy conundrums, these different fights, with friends, with family, with ideal candidates of love. And I finally found the answer after 2 years that it was never on the outside. It was so crazy. I was chasing for something that was always internally within me. It wasn't, in the mailbox. It wasn't on a mountain somewhere. It wasn't sitting in a car. It was always within. And then when coming to that realization now, I have allowed so many to disrupt the love that I have in the basis of making sure that they feel loved. But my external love is only a radiation from within. And realizing that I was giving the within without, it disrupts my internal perception of what it was. And at the end of this, realizing no matter what you have attached to individuals around you, expectations, ideas, perceptions of where they can be, it'll never be the trueness in which is internally in you at all times. And so when then you search for that internally and continuously to dig out the dirt, and the dirt would be the representation of the traumas that you have attached yourself with in the experiences of life with the people that you have interacted with. When you dig yourself through that, you start to realize the inner child that you have left abandoned, unheard, unnurtured, unloved, uncared for. And when you return back to that child and you sit down and have the conversation and have that tough conversation, you start to realize that inner child talks to you back and makes you reconsider all the decisions you have made to this point and help you understand who you are, who you always have been, and what you always dreamed of being. And then this is where that true love comes, because it's so unconditional, because it is in the truth of knowing oneself that becomes the most authentic thing. And authenticity and love are the same thing. It's such a thin line of the stark differences, but it's also the same thing. And so now when you're authentically you are 100% in the frequency of love and the idea and the concept of who you created yourself, or not created, but wanted yourself to be as a kid. And when you grasp that again, the world somehow just switches and changes for you. And so finding that now, I have been tested within the last month, and I have always came back to myself. Always what was good for me. What did I want? What experience did I want to discover and walk through? And how did I want to give that to the people around me. But before I give it to them, I had to give it to myself. And so then looking at individuals who don't have the capability of giving it to themselves, they outwardly then express anger, frustration, upsetness to everyone else around them because they have the ability to. And so they destroy the ones around them for the lack of understanding of themselves. And so now when you go to the concept of outward love, there are two types. There are conditional and there's unconditional. Some individuals, because of they've been hurt and they use this as a method to protect themselves, it has then been conditional love. I feel loved because you do this. I feel loved because this is happening. I feel loved because I have these things. I feel loved because you said this. I feel loved because I did this today. I feel loved. I feel this, that, third, because all these external things are happening. But unconditional love is, I love that I woke up today to experience the unknown and to experience with the people around me that make me feel like me. And I love those people for wherever they are at, regardless of what they have done, because I understand that they're going through the same complexity in this world. And so as we go through it together, it is understanding regardless what has been done to one another, I still love you, but I have set a boundary to protect the internal love that I continuously give to myself. And grasping that has taken so long that it's so insane that it was always right there. The answers you seek are never really that far. And this is the concept where I realized Buddha had went on such a long journey to find these answers, of being one of the richest person in the world during his time to then being the poorest. And at the both ends, the answer was never external. It was always inside at all times. In our mind's eye, the thoughts, the ideas, the concepts that we rummage around in our brain. And when I figured that out, when I really understood that, I realized the world is for your taking. Once you truly are in that authentic self, doesn't matter what you don't have, doesn't matter what you do have, if you don't have the authenticity of looking at yourself right now in this moment and saying, I may not have this, but I love myself to work enough to get what I want externally. I love that where I am now is because of the decisions I've made, because I thought it was for the best of my benefit. It has always been inside. It will never leave you. You could bury it as much as you want with all the external vices, but it's there, and you just have to look for it. My name is Banko. Thank you for taking your time, for listening to whatever I had to say in the moment, and it just share me your thoughts. So I appreciate that, and I bid you a fair due. Oh, that was fun.